Hello, everybody. Today I'm here with the Disney Heroes Battle Mode Update 3.7.10, and today we're getting the Underminer from Incredibles 2, and also we've got the new skill tag visibility, which I don't really have anything to say about personally, so I'm not going to talk about it, but feel free to look at the patch notes if you're interested. It mentions there's a stat refresh for John Silver, but as far as I've seen, there's nothing on that, and then usual bug fixes and improvements that, once again, you can look at if you're interested. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Underminer. Now, for me personally, I think this is really cool. If I were to add another character from the Incredibles series myself, I probably would have chosen the Underminer, to be fair. It is always kind of interesting that they add someone like him and not the main villain. Or some of the new heroes that were introduced in Incredibles 2. But again, me personally, I love getting the Underminer and would have chosen him if I could. I also think it's really cool just because we haven't gotten another Incredibles character for a very long time. The only one that was added since the initial release was Syndrome, which was very, like necessary, I feel like. And it's cool to get more. I don't know if they ever plan on adding any more than this, but there are certainly more characters they could do. And it's kind of in the same case with Toy Story, where people might just kind of be sick of getting characters for a series with that many characters already. But also, this is something I'm probably going to talk about more towards the end of the video, but I typically don't really read the comments on these because they're just like a cesspool of awfulness and misunderstandings, and today was just like the worst of it. Like, almost no one seems happy with this. A couple of them, of course, are going to be happy, but most of them are just like, man, I would rather have somebody else, or why'd they do this, or why'd they do that, which I'm sure for the creators is really just disheartening. But again, I want to touch on that more at the end of the video, but I should just say my thoughts on the Underminer for now. I think he does look a little weird, and hopefully he looks a little better in game. I do really like the hand that they gave him, though. And I have no idea, I haven't read the skills yet, so I'm very curious about that, too. And it's interesting that they specifically call it from Incredibles 2. Obviously, he was in the first one and the second one, but we see more of his, what I assume they're going to pull for his moveset in the sequel, so. Without further ado, well, actually, he's going to be a damaged character and will be in the prize wall next. So we thought it was going to be the other Datamine character. This was actually a surprise character, which is a really cool surprise in my opinion. It would have been a little bit more boring if we had known about this already, but yeah. So we'll be seeing that other character, I assume, after this, but let's go through his skills. First up is the powerful suction. The Underminer pulls the farthest enemy into his money suction machine, dealing normal damage. He then knocks the same enemy back with a punch, dealing normal damage while reducing their movement and attack speed. So I wonder if where this thing is going to come from, or where the enemy is going to go after they get sucked in, because he punches them after. So it's weird. I think in the movie it was like almost a tube that went in one way and then came out another, so maybe it'll just go off the screen and then come back next to the Underminer, but I really don't know. I'm very curious about that. Next up is the Jackhammer. The Underminer jackhammers the ground, sending shockwaves towards all enemies. The shockwaves knock enemies back and disorient them, dealing normal damage over time, which sounds super helpful, and also a cool animation to see as well. It'll be fun to see him jump up on a jackhammer. I don't believe we have like any other character that does that in the game, which is also a cool thing to get. The Miner Explosion. The Underminer detonates explosives around the middlemost enemy, dealing fantastic damage to them and fantastic damage to surrounding enemies. The middlemost enemy gains stacks of weakness. I feel like I've never seen the middlemost, quote-unquote, enemy gaining something, so that's interesting too. So maybe we'll be seeing more of that in the future, I don't know. I just feel like that's something I've never seen before, but maybe we have. Next up is Undermined. When the Underminer would be KO'd, he dives underground and revives himself back to percent of his max HP. After reviving, he emerges under the farthest enemy and uppercuts them, dealing normal damage to them and knocking back nearby enemies. After re-emerging, the Underminer continues to heal himself percent of his max HP over the next few seconds. That is like an awesome revival thing. Like, sometimes they're just sort of boring or they don't do much, But for him to revive himself by going underground, coming up and actually hurting an enemy, and then also healing himself after that, like, that sounds like it could be overpowered almost, and we'll just have to wait and see. But that is probably my favorite move that he has so far. I am loving this guy's moveset. I'm so happy they added him. Again, people don't seem to be too happy, but this is awesome. Finally is the Tremble Before Me. If Minor Explosion hits a number of enemies, the cooldown is reduced. Minor Explosion now deals bonus true damage to the main target and more fantastic damage to the surrounding enemies. When the Underminer triggers Undermine, he goes berserk for a certain amount of time. Alright, and his friendships are going to be Vinny, Santorini, and Violet. Again, Violet's a thing that people are really complaining about. They're like, why Violet? Which, I mean, I guess they just chose one of the Incredibles. Maybe they felt like Violet was underused in terms of friendships and could use some more. Or maybe they have an actual angle for these two. Or maybe they work well together. Like, I really don't know, but it'll be interesting for sure. And then the Vinny one, Vinny's kind of a miner in his own right. He uses explosives to mine, I'm pretty sure. So they can bond over that, I'm sure. And we'll just move right ahead to the hero locations and content adjustments. There isn't too much to note here, but kind of the usual prize wall movements. So March 17th, we're getting the Underminer in the next prize wall. So not this week, not the next week, but the week after that, which I would assume is a Thursday. I didn't look, but that's the day that prize walls have been. And then Bagheera is going to move to be an event exclusive hero. Then Pete's going to the VIP crate. Anna's going to the diamond crates. And Raya is going to be in the elite campaign. I'm not sure where, but maybe, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. This is a full-up update and server update that's planned for this week, Tuesday, March 8th. So potentially some more data mines, although we still don't have one of the data mines that we previously had. So it's entirely possible that we won't be seeing anyone new. And I would probably lean towards not seeing anybody, but you never know. But again, I'm really excited. It's, like I said, for the creators of the game, I'm sure it's really disappointing to be really excited for a new update. You're like, man, we worked really hard on this character and we really like how the moves that we came out for them and the angle that we did for everything. And I hope, or they're like, I'm super excited, I can't wait to see how people react to this. And then everyone just super negative. And I don't know. I feel in my case that if I was someone doing this, this would just be like the most disheartening thing to see. You would be so unmotivated to keep making more stuff after seeing this. So kind of my message here is, obviously if you're watching this, you're passionate about the game and you want it to be well and to have the creators continue to do good things with it. And even if this isn't something that you necessarily like, at least be constructive. Be positive in some way. Even if you feel negatively about it, try to be positive and give them compliments on the things they did well. But you can also be constructive if you don't think this is the best that they can do. Rather than just being overly negative for no apparent reason, or just because you are disappointed with it doesn't mean necessarily that they did a bad job creating it. Does that make sense? Like, obviously you have the right to be upset by this, but you don't always have to be so negative about everything, I think. But that's really all I wanted to say. And I look forward to the Underminer coming, and I know others do too. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Tuesday when the new update comes out. Goodbye.